Proposing. Question number 7, the Honourable Tau Henare.
My question is to the Minister for Social Development and Employment. What announcements has she made that will invest in young people who are not in education, training or work?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, we've announced radical changes for young people aged 16, 17 and teen parents aged 18 as well, which will transform the way that government provides not just financial assistance but also services to these young people. We have anywhere between 7,000 and 13,500 young people aged 16 and 17 who are not in education, training or work, and it's estimated that up to 90% of them, this group, will end up on an adult benefit unless we intervene. Mr Speaker, we will be intervening.
The Honourable Tau Henare.
Mr Speaker, what will be different for those receiving benefits, particularly for teen parents, especially living in the electorate of Te Ratu?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
The other group that we are concentrating on a lot are teen parents, including those in Te Ratu. We're moving to a far more targeted, supportive approach. Mr Speaker, it is of real concern to me and to this government that we have young people with very small babies who are quite isolated on their own and need our sort of support, and we are determined to wrap more around them and also help them with financial assistance, budgeting, parenting courses and the like.
Te Roro Flavel.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker. Kia ora tātou. Can I ask the Minister what arrangements will government recommend to enable tertiary institutions and training providers to take on more students in order to truly invest in the potential of all of our young people to succeed in education, training and work?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, actually the work for teen parents is of particular importance of their education and training and for young Māori and young Māori mums. So we are very keen to work with wānanga and Polytechs and other organisations to make sure that some of those youth guarantee places are used for these teen parents, that it's a wraparound service. We see some of it being in homes, but I know that the Minister of Education and the Minister for Tertiary Education have got a number of initiatives that are also encouraging more places for those most vulnerable.
The Honourable Tau Henare.
Mr Speaker, how will providers be working with these young teens, especially in areas such as West Auckland?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, how non-government organisations work with these groups, and particularly these teen parents, is really going to be the measure of the success of the initiatives that we announced on Sunday. So somewhere like the Waipareira Trust, for example, or Presbyterian Support Services, or some iwi-based organisations, you can envisage them having a wraparound service, particularly with a young mum, ensuring that she has education and training. When it comes to the youth transition services and making sure that we have those organisations working with them, we see that very much as an investment approach, so less spent on those that are lower risk and spending more money on those that are higher risk to make sure that they are of value and we don't see them just picking off the easy kids but actually wanting to work with the more difficult ones as well. So those relationships are vital.
Question number 8, Grant Robertson.
Question is to the Minister of Health. Does he stand by all the statements he has made in relation to after-hours medical services?
The Honourable Tony Ryall.
Mr Speaker, within the context they were made, yes. I also stand by my comment that tomorrow I'm travelling to Nelson, or planning to travel to Nelson, to inspect the potential site of a new after-hours joint venture in that city.
Grant Robertson.
Question. Did he say to Temuka Grey Power President Shirley Gilmer that cuts to after-hours services in Temuka, quote, might not happen, when in fact after-hours GP services in Temuka and Geraldine have ceased from today? If so, why?
The Honourable Tony Ryall.
Mr Speaker, I did have a conversation with that lady. I can't remember the exact words, but I can say that I spoke to the District Health Board Chief Executive on Sunday about this issue, and I'm told that the DHB is keen to get back around the table with the GPs as soon as possible. There is a difference of opinion as to what funding is required for this service, which is not uncommon, and in fact Timaru GPs raised problems with after-hours funding in 2007. I can assure the member that people seeking after-hours care in Temuka and Geraldine can access a comprehensive nurse-led telephone triage service and there is still a doctor providing after-hours care in Geraldine.
Grant Robertson.
Speaker, is the Minister aware that there are now no after-hours GP services available in Temuka and Geraldine from today?
The Honourable Tony Ryall.
Mr Speaker, the information I've received is that there is still a doctor providing after-hours care in Geraldine. There's one doctor who is not in with the Temuka doctors, but what I can assure the member is that alternative arrangements in terms of the nurse-led telephone service are in place after hours. There is also a need, I think, for ongoing discussions between the GPs and the DHB, and the DHB is very keen to see if they can address the issue around the money and what the expectations are. And this is not uncommon in these sorts of negotiations.
Grant Robertson.
Can the Minister guarantee to the people of Temuka that they will have after-hours GP services, given that from today those services are not available?
The Honourable Tony Ryall.
Mr Speaker, I'm not in a position to be able to guarantee that there'll be that the GPs themselves will provide that after-hours service, because nor can that member guarantee it that there will definitely be a GP after-hours service. What I can guarantee is that our arrangements are being put in place in order to meet the needs of those people. There's still an after-hours GP available in Geraldine, and the DHB is very keen to meet with the GPs in terms of addressing this issue. We have put quite a lot of extra money into the South Canterbury DHB, and I'm sure they're investing it wisely.
Question number 9, Hon Harawira.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker. To the Minister for Social Development and Employment, does government's policy announcement on Sunday regarding youth unemployment include plans to create large-scale quality employment for youth in Aotearoa? And if not, why not?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, this policy focuses on two main groups of young people, as we've discussed. Firstly, those 16 and 17-year-olds who are completely disengaged, and 90% of them are at risk of ending up on the benefit system. These 16 and 17-year-olds, by virtue of the fact that they have left school early, are unlikely to be work ready. So the focus is clearly on getting them into education and training so they are able to get a good job that will sustain them long term. 43,000 new jobs were created last year. More are coming, so let's make sure these young people are ready to take them up.
Hon Harawira.
Does the Minister agree with the comment that policies that concentrate the wealth of the nation in the hands of the few, drive people into poverty and then penalise them for being poor, are the reasons behind the riots in London? And how long does the Minister think it will be before disillusioned youth in this country take to the streets like their mates in England have done?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, what we are doing is spending more money on those young people because we see them as valuable and we see them as having potential, and we want to realise that. So that is actually putting the focus on them, making sure that we see there is those kind of employment and training opportunities. In fact, we're kind of making them valuable because we're saying that to a non-government organisation, we'll pay you to actually put a special interest on them and connect them into that training and education.
Hon Harawira.
Does the Minister agree with the comment that government does not have a policy on full employment because wide-scale unemployment enables them to push for greater cuts in the rights of unemployed youth? And how does she think that forcing young mothers off the benefit and into work will solve the problem of unemployment when there are no jobs and no plans to create them?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, no I don't, not at all. What I do believe is that what we're currently doing with them is actually abandonment. So we are saying to 16 and 17-year-olds and 18-year-old teen mums that actually here's a few $100s a week and good luck out there. Well, I think we can do better than that. I do take a responsibility for them, and as such we'll step up, put a focus on them and make sure we are wrapping the right kind of support around them.
Question number 10, Sumaroni.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Does he stand by all of his answers to oral question number 12